Good evening, good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Several people, actually one person called me at 9 o'clock this morning to let me know they passed the exam, they're done with their GED. And hopefully she'll come here tonight and um, give you her insight when she took the exam and her opinions. But again, if you're looking through the ebook, using the calculator, taking the practice test, you definitely, I'll help you pass that exam. All right, so how can I help you tonight? What do we need assistance in? What have you been working on or something that you didn't understand? Anything? Did I share my screen? Yep. Anything? Sharon? Anything?
What was just on the screen?
Oh, I don't. That was
Yeah, that's here. Not that.
I, hold on.
The word, the graph. I can't.
Oh, I apologize. So, Um, now, unfortunately, people, if you listen to this video, I didn't have the recording on, so I'm going back. I'm gonna review what we just did.
Okay.
Uh, I'm gonna do 3 questions that may be indicative of the questions you have on the first 5. This first one says today both the soccer team and the basketball team had games. The soccer team plays every 4 days, and the basketball team plays every 3 days. When will both teams have games on the same day? One of the common mistakes people make is they just multiply the two numbers together. That is not what we're doing. Even though in this case it is the correct answer, but we're not just multiplying the number two together. What you want to do is find what's called the least common multiple of each. Okay, so the soccer team plays 4th day, 8th day, 12th day, 16th day. The basketball team plays 3, 6, 9, 12. Lowest common multiple. In this case, they both will play on the same day on day 12. Okay, that's a common mistake that people make is multiply those two numbers and they will get it incorrect. That's a concept we use the least common multiple. Another example is using the greatest common factor. Again, to me, I think the easiest way to do this problem is just using multiple choice. Does 7 go into 16? No, can't be A. Does 2 go into 16? Yes. 2 go into 28? Yes. 2 go into 20. This is a possible. Okay. So we know that's a possible. Of course, 1 goes into 16. So this is a possible. But now, if we want the greatest common factor and 1 and 2 are both factors, we know it can't be 1 because 2 is higher than 1. So let's look at 4. 4 goes into 16, 4 goes into 28, 4 goes into 20. Now we know the correct answer is 4. That's a quick way to use the multiple choice to find the greatest common factor. Well, how are you supposed to do it mathematically? The factor is a number that goes evenly or into another. Okay, so the factors of 16, I would tell you to take the factor pairs. Take two numbers that multiply together to get 16. 1 times 16, 2 times 8, and 4 times 4. So the factors of 16 are 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. Then we find the factors of 28. 1 times 28, 2 times 14. 3 does not go evenly into 28. 4 times 7, 5 doesn't go evenly in 28. 6 doesn't go evenly into 28. 7, but we already have 7. So the factors of 28 are 1, 2, 4, 7, 14, and 28. Now we do 20. Find the factor pairs. What two numbers can we multiply together to get 20? 1 times 20, 2 times 10. 3 does not go into 20. 4 times 5. So we want to find the highest number in all 3 lists. 4, 4, 4. So that's the second way, or how you're supposed to do it. But that's how you would do that problem. Again, one of the first 5. Find the distance between two numbers on a number line. Okay, I like this question better. We did one previously when I wasn't recording, but they gave you a comment. So I'll do that first real quick. Okay, find the distance between two numbers on a line. You're probably going to have that. So it's very easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we know it's at least 6. The distance between two numbers cannot be negative. So we know it's at least 6. Can't be that. Can't be that. I mean, 4.5, answer 6.5. Process of elimination, very easy problem. Now, this is the type of problem you'll probably see. Okay. Well, they give you a number line, but the answers are using the absolute value. Okay. So again, we're still doing the same thing. The distance between two number lines is easy. Just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we know the distance between these two numbers are 6. But now we have to find from the multiple choice what represents 6. So let's start with D, because I already know the answer is already A. So we're going to start with D. -1 minus 5 is -6. Can't be D. 5 minus 1 is the absolute value of 4 is 4. 5 minus 1 is 4. The absolute value -1 minus 5 is -6. You should know the absolute value of any number returns just the value. So whether it's negative or positive, the absolute value of -6 is 6. So the correct answer would be A. Okay. Again, one of the most missed questions on the GED exam. The distance between two numbers where the answers are absolute values. Now, this is also another one of the most missed questions on the exam. Let me make this a little bit bigger because I had a lot of questions on this over the weekend. Okay. A lot of people didn't understand this. They didn't understand why. So what happened was I had 2 people over the weekend who went through the ebook and didn't understand why. So one of the things you should know is the inverse operations, right? So that means the opposite of addition is subtraction. The opposite of subtraction is addition. The opposite of multiplication is division. The opposite of division is multiplication. Well, the inverse operations of squaring something is square root. So I'm just going to give one little example. 4 squared equals 16. The square root of 16 equals 4. So the square root of 16 is the base, which is 4. So I recommend you knowing all your squares and up to 15 and knowing all your square roots to 225. That's what I would do. Now, so this is not a tricky question. Most people get this wrong. They automatically answer 3. They automatically answer 3 because they say, oh, 9. 3 squared is 9. What you should see is the square root of what number squared is equal to 9. It's the easiest question on the test. If you get this question, you should be laughing all the way to the bank. The square root and the square cancel each other out. So 9 is equal to 9. It's the easiest question on the test. But believe it or not, again, this is one of the most missed questions on your GED exam. Okay? You have to know that the square and the square root are inverse operations and they cancel each other out. You might be saying, well, what's the tension? Why are you spending so much time on the first 5? Because let me explain something to you. And I say this over and over again. Okay? If you start an exam and you get the first 5 wrong, it's going to shake you. It's going to shake your confidence. It's going to make you anxious. It's going to make you frustrated. But if you get the first 5 correct, now you're feeling better about yourself. You're feeling good. So it's important to try to get those first 5 correct. Now, this is another example of the first 5 that people get. 8.1 times 3.2. So what I saw was when I asked a student over the weekend to do this problem, she went like this. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 8 is 16. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 8 is 24. 2, 9, 5, 2. She said, oh, the answer is 2592. I said, well, I don't see 2592 as one of the answers. She said, well, I know I did it right. I know I multiplied it right. I said, but you're multiplying decimals, not whole.
Yeah.
What you did is you multiplied whole numbers. So you have to count these decimal places. You got 1 here, you got 1 here. So all together, you have 2 decimal places. So you got to move that decimal place 2 times to the left. 1, 2. So your answer is 25.92. So, and she took about, after seeing that mistake going going through that. We took about 2.5 minutes on this problem. What you should see is this, okay? 8.1 is close to 8. 3.2 is close to 3. These not our actual numbers, but we're just estimating. So we know our
24.
answer is like above 24, a little bit over 24. So it can't be 2.5, right? It can't be 259, correct? It's either 25.92 or 24.2. But we know 8 times 3 is 24. This is too close.
Mhm.
So we know the answer is 25.92 without doing any work at all. This is a common thing that you will see on the exam as one of the first 5. Okay, so you want to start the exam strong. It's funny because I just posted a, let me see if I can find it. I just posted a picture because I started posting again on my Facebook. I stopped posting, like I said, because my dad. But what I'm going to do is I'm on the ball now. The new course is up. It's waiting for you with all the practice tests. My site is back up. Site is now working again. So let's see if I can find it. Let me see if I okay, right here. Okay.
Okay.
The first 5, start strong, build confidence, build self-esteem. The first 5 are the first 5 problems on the exam. The TI-30X calculator cannot be used. The first 5 typically come from the following concepts. Undefined. A ratio is undefined when the denominator is equal to 0 or the square root of a negative number. Skill number 2, greatest common factor and least common multiple. Skill number 3, ordering fractions, decimal, and percents, putting them in order. Okay, so usually that's one, and again, that's one of the most missed exams. Skill number 4, square, square roots, cube, and cube roots. Number 5, absolute value. The distance away from 0, or the distance between 2 points. And the last one, I got skills 5 through 7, converting mixed numbers to improper fractions and improper fractions to mixed numbers, and multiplying and dividing decimals. Okay, so those are those are your the where they usually get your first 5 from. I would recommend making sure. So when you sign up for my course, I have an assessment, or that assessment we were just working on right here. But it's of course it's digital, so you get your answers right away, get your score right away. Okay,
Okay.
I would make sure I take that assessment because you want to start off strong. All right, what else you got for me? What else have you been working on? What else?
Um, like I said, those word problems y'all were doing last week.
Okay, the linear equations.
Yeah.
Linear equations are very important. So whether you have word problems or not, linear equations are going to be anywhere from 7 to 10 problems. Okay, so like if you look at this practice, okay, that's a coordinate plane.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, definitely question on the exam. You have to know your ordered pair. Okay, you have to know ordered
What's up, man?
pair. So pair meaning 2, order means in order. X before
Mm-hmm.
Y. So if I'm looking at a point like this, I get my X first,
Yep.
which is 3, get my Y, which is -2. Okay, guaranteed on your exam. They almost always ask, but these all have to do with linear equations. So I'm gonna mute you, Sharon, because I hear your background.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay.
What is the slope of the line represented by the equation? Okay. Again, if you've been joining my class, if you've been using my ebook, you should be laughing all the way to the bank. Now, how do they want you to do? This is why this is considered a medium to difficult problem, believe it or not. Because what they want you to do, let me change my color back to red. I don't know why I keep using this black. The red is much easier to see. So I'm going to use red. Okay. What they want you to do, 3x plus 4y equal 8. They want you to subtract 3x from both sides. The 3x cancels. You have 4y equal. Now I'm going to reorder these. Why am I going to reorder them? Because I want my equation to appear in slope-intercept form. Y equal mx plus b. So I'm going to put my minus 3x first and my plus 8. You can change the order. Okay, remember, those properties, the associative property, your commutative property, your distributive property, you should know those properties. Well, associative property tells you it doesn't matter which way you order multiplication or addition. Doesn't matter the order. Okay, so minus 3x plus 8. Now, to get y by itself, the opposite of multiplication is division. But because these are not like terms, I need to divide both by 4 separately. My 4's cancel on the left. I get y equal negative 3/4 x plus 2. So from this, I can deduce that my slope is what? What's my slope for y equal negative 3/4 x plus 2? What is my slope?
Negative 3/4.
Negative 3/4. And what's my y-intercept?
2.
2. Now this doesn't ask for your y-intercept, but I just asked you to see if you know. So negative 3/4 will be the slope. This is how they want you to do this problem. What I'm giving you is a shortcut. And the shortcut tells you this linear equation is in standard form. So ax plus by equals c. That means a is 3, b is 4, c is 8. To easily find a slope, you take the opposite of a and put it over b. So a is 3. The opposite of 3 is what?
It's negative.
Negative 3 over b, which is 4. I'm done. Slope negative 3/4. 15 seconds. Okay, so you have to be prepared to find a slope in standard form and slope-intercept form. Another guaranteed question on the exam, either form. Okay, another linear equation. This is a linear equation. Okay. Now, but what they say is determine whether an equation and a graph show the same proportional relationship. Proportional relationships for equations and graphs. And then you look at this word problem and it says Chelsea designs beaded bracelets. The equation P equals 7 plus 0.05B can be used to find the price P of a bracelet that has B beads. What does the 0.05 in the equation represent? The price of each bead, the price of each bracelet, the number of bracelets made, the number of beads in the bracelet. So what they tried to do is the variables is B. It's telling you the answer. What is the 0.5? The price of each bead, the price of each bracelet. Well, B doesn't stand for bracelet.
It stands for beads.
So I'm multiplying 0.05 times the number of beads. The reason why I'm doing that is because that's the price of each bead. Again, that's an easy problem. But most people think because it's a word problem, oh my God, I don't know. What does B stand for? B bracelet. I don't know. They're telling you B stands for beads. And if it's being multiplied, the number of beads that you have is being multiplied by some number, and P stands for price, the total price of the bracelet. That means that's the price of each bead, 5 cents. Easy money. Easy money. You have to go into this test confidently. You have to practice enough on my site and do enough practice to when you go into the exam, you feel comfortable. You can't be intimidated by word problems. Okay? So I'm going to show you something. Let me see if I can find a word problem that has to do with a function. Mr. Tiz, I thought you was talking about a linear equation. I am. Remember, where is it? Remember, a function is an equation. It is? Yes, it is. The only difference is what makes something a function is for every x, there's only one y. For every input, so remember, x is your input, y is your input. So for every x, there's only one y. So let's look at this problem here. It's a word problem. Lucy is shipping 5 boxes that all weigh the same and one envelope that weighs 7.5 pounds. The total weight of the shipment is 65 pounds. What is the weight in pounds of each box? Wow. Okay. This is an intimidating question. It's intimidating if you make it intimidating. Again, what do I tell you? Identify your givens. There are 5 boxes that all weigh the same. There's one envelope weighing 7.5 pounds. That's a heavy envelope. The total weight is 65. So, so the weight of these 5 boxes plus the weight of the one envelope equal 65 pounds. That's all this question is saying. Well, I don't know how much each of the boxes weigh. So that means it's an unknown. It gets a variable. So 5x plus 7.5 equal 65. That's it. So how do you solve a two-step equation? So if I get to this equation here, how do I solve this two-step equation? What do I do first? What do I do
You got a
first?
minus 7.5.
You got a minus 7.5 from both sides.
Yes.
You bring your 5x down. The
Mm-hmm.
7.5s cancel each other out. Bring down
Mm-hmm.
your equal. What is 65 minus 7.5?
It is 57.5.
57.5. So 5x equals 57.5. I now have a one-step algebraic equation. Now, how
Mm-hmm.
do I solve for x?
You have to divide 5 on both sides.
Divide 5 on both sides. The 5's
Mm-hmm.
cancel. I get x equal, what's that? 1.5. Yep, 11.5.
It's 11.5.
That's how you solve with algebraic. Listen, you can't let these word problems intimidate you. If they're giving you the answers, if they're giving you multiple choice, use your multiple choice. So I got 5 boxes, unknown, right?
Mm-hmm.
Plus 7.5, I must equal 65. So I'm going to put each one of these in here. So I get 5.5 times 5 is 25 and 2.5, that's 27.5. So I'm just going to round off. 27.5 is close to 28. 7.5 is close to 8. That's 36. Can't be that. 11.5 times 5. 55 plus 2.5 is 57.5. I'm just going to round off. I want to see. 58 plus 8 is 66. Oh, that's pretty close. That's probably the answer. The common sense should tell me if 11.5 is close, can 14.5 and 20.5 even be the answer?
No, it's too much.
No, because 14 times 5 is 50 plus 20, which is 70. That's more than 65. So I already know it can't be the. So that's the common sense way to solve this problem that gives so many people on the GED exam issue. Remember, I can't say it enough. More than half the exam is multiple choice. One of those answers is your answer. Plug it in. Identify your givens, plug it in. It's much easier to do this problem um, the common sense way than algebraically. Right or wrong?
Yeah.
Much easier. Okay, so let's go back to those linear equations. Again, linear equations are going to be 7 to 10 questions on your exam. You have to be ready for linear equations. You have to be. What is the equation of the line that has a slope of minus 7 and passes through the point 4 comma 8? Okay. So I'm going to tell you right here. Listen, I can't tell you what to do, but what I do know is this. I know if I'm given an equation in standard form, if I'm given the equation in standard form, I can easily find the slope by minus a over b. So minus 1 over 7. It tells me my slope is negative 7. Can't be a.
Mm-hmm.
Minus 7 over 1. Okay, it could be that. Minus 1 over minus 7 is positive 1/7. Can't be that. minus 7 over, oops, let me write neatly. Remember, the opposite of 7 is minus 7 over minus 1 is 7. It can't be that because the slope is negative 7. Look at that. I'm done. That's without doing anything algebraically. Now, how do they want you to do? Again, this is a guaranteed question on the exam. So I showed you an easy way to do this problem, but I'm going to show you how you would solve this algebraically. First of all, you identify your givens. They want to know the equation of the line. So that means I need the slope and the y-intercept. They gave me this. I don't know the y-intercept, but they gave me a point. I know each point tells me x and y. So that's my x, that's my y. So I'm going to get my slope intercept form, and I'm going to plug them in. Y is 8. My slope is negative 7. I'll multiply that by x. X is 4 plus b. So I get 8 equal minus 28 plus b. In order to get b by itself, I must add 28 to both sides. So I get 36. I bring down my equal. The 28's cancel. I bring down my b. So I know my y-intercept is b. I mean, my y-intercept is 36. I know my slope is negative 7. So again, I plug it back here. I get y equal minus 7x plus 36. Unfortunately, I do not see that answer as one of my answers. So am I stuck? No, I'm not.
No.
I have to do to change standard form. Change slope intercept form to standard form is to move the x to the other side of the equation. So I'm going to add 7x to both sides. And I get 7x plus y equal 36. Easy question.
Yep, B.
Okay. Again, don't make the GED exam harder than it is. These classes, the eBook and the calculator, I'll show you how to pass this exam with no problems. Okay. What is the equation of the line that passes through the points? Minus 3, minus 2, and 1 comma 6. Again, people look at this and they say, oh my God, this is so hard. No, it is not. Again, the equation of the line, you need two things. You need the slope and you need the y-intercept. Well, I know how to find the slope from 2 points. How do I know? Because it's on my formula sheet. And that formula sheet says y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Well, Mr. Tinsley, I'm not a NASA scientist. I don't know what x2, y2, x2, yx1, I don't know what all that means. Yes, you do, because I'm going to tell you right now. They're very easy. How many points do you have? You have 2 points. This is your first point. This is your second point. Because this is my first point, and I know each point is an x and a y, and I want to differentiate between the first point and second point, I'm going to call this x1 and this y1. Because this is my second point, I'm going to call this x2 and y2. Hold on. So now you got all the ingredients to bake your slope cake. I know what y2 is. y2 is 6. Right there. Minus y1 is minus 2. If you notice, I enclosed the negative 2 in parentheses so you will not get it confused with the minus sign from the equation. Okay? x2 is 1 minus, so you will not get it confused with the negative sign from the equation. x1 is minus 3. You should know by now 2 negatives next to each other make a positive. So this is going to change the 6 plus 2 over 1 plus 3, which is 8 over 4, which is 2. So I know my slope is 2.
Yep.
So right away, you should say, oh, I know how to find the slope from slope intercept. Because if you don't, I'm going to show you right now. Y equal mx plus b. So all you're doing is lining it up. Y equal 2x plus 4. Since m is my slope here is 2. If I go to my second one, my slope is -2. If I go to my third one, my slope is 1/2. If I go to my fourth one, my slope is 1/2. But we already know our slope was 2. So the only one that had a slope of 2, done,
Okay.
done. Okay? It's not as hard as you think it is. It's not as hard as you think it is. Okay? A linear equation. Look at all these linear equation problems. Okay? If I know linear equations are going to count between 7 and 10 questions on my exam, which is almost a quarter of your exam. Most people who failed the exam, if they just go over linear equations, can probably pass the exam. Finding the slope from 2 points, finding the slope from a table, finding the slope from a graph, finding the slope from equation, the slope of a parallel line, slope of a perpendicular line, the equation from a graph, okay? The equation from 2 points, okay? These are all possibilities. The equation given a point in the slope. These are all the possibilities they can give you. If you know that's all of them, make sure you know how to do all those type of questions. So then you see a problem like this. Do you know how to solve a problem like this? What is the slope of a line that is perpendicular to 5x minus 2y equals 1? How would I find the slope of this line that is perpendicular to 5x minus 2y equal 1? How would I do that?
Perpendicular means the opposite.
No, it does not.
No.
Perpendicular is two lines when they cross form a
At
90-degree angle.
a right angle.
Because of that, the slope is the negative inverse.
Okay.
So one thing you have to know, parallel lines
Parallel is the same line.
have the same, not the same, they're not the same line, have the same slope.
Same slope.
Because remember, let me give you an example. Y equal 2x plus 3
Hmm.
and y equal 2x minus 5 are not the same line, but
No.
they both have the same slope. Both of them
Slope.
had a slope of 2. These two
Hmm.
lines are parallel to each other and will never cross each other. Perpendicular line. Okay, to find the slope of a perpendicular line
They cross.
is the negative inverse. That means change the sign and flip. Again, one of the easiest problems. They're going to ask you the slope of a parallel and perpendicular line. You must know parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines take the negative inverse. What does that mean, Mr. Tinsley? What do I know? How do I know what the slope is? Well, first of all, you should know from the previous question I just did tonight, or previously from another session, that this linear equation is a standard form.
Hmm.
And identify A, B, and C. A is what?
Hmm. A is 5.
C is what? I mean, B is what?
-2.
C is what?
And C is 1.
C is 1. To find the slope of this line, you take the opposite of A and put it over B. If A is
Hmm.
5, what's the opposite of 5?
-5.
What's B?
B is -2.
Two negatives make what?
A positive.
So you know the slope of this line is 5/2. They don't want to know the slope of this line. They want to find the
Mm-mm.
slope of a line that is perpendicular to that line. So that's
Hmm.
important. So most people, when they get that answer, they pick 5/2. That's why it's
Mm-mm.
sitting here.
It's not that one.
They have -5/2. Oh, it's the opposite. No,
Nope. It's not that one either.
change the sign and flip. So 5/2 is positive. So
Mm-hmm.
the slope of a line that's perpendicular has to be negative,
Mm-hmm.
and then you flip it. 2 5/2 become
Maybe 2 over
2/5.
5. Mm-hmm.
So your answer of the slope that's perpendicular is negative 2/5. Okay? Listen, if you're watching this video, if you're here tonight or you're watching this video later, okay, what I just gave you, okay, look at your practice test. Look at the last time you took your exam. Listen to what I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen. Most people miss 3 of the first 5 and 4 that have to do linear equations. So if you scored 140 or above and you had issues with the first 5 in linear equations, knowing these 2 concepts, or it's more than 2 concepts, knowing these 2 areas, the first 5 linear equations, can help you pass the exam. I can't say it more clearly. The first 5 is 5 questions. Linear equations is anywhere from 5 to 10 questions. Usually it's about 7. Okay. But that's 5 questions plus a max of 10. That's 15 questions on your exam out of 40 questions. That's a large part of your exam.
Mm.
Okay. So if you think you can't pass the exam and you look at your practice test or you look at your real exam and you see you had issues with the first 5 linear equations, you should be like, oh, I'm going to get on Mr. Tinsley's site. I'm going to practice. I'm going to come through his sessions. I'm going to do my one-on-one. I'm going to go take my test and I'm out of here. You should be happy right now because listen to what I'm telling you. I have looked at over 300 practice tests and real exams. Most people miss 3 out of the 5 first 5. Most people miss 4 questions that have to do with linear equations. And if you got a 140, 142, that puts you right over the hump and you pass. So you may not even need to study for months and months and months to get your passing score. Use your practice test and the last time you took this test as a prescription to what you're going to study first and get those concepts down, then go take your exam again. Stop wasting 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months because you're trying to get a perfect score, 190. Pass the exam and get your diploma. Do one step at a time. The math course I have is online. Even if you pass your GED exam, you can use it as much as you want to prepare for your T's, to prepare for your entrance exams to CCP, to practice for your electrical tests. Because on those exams, you can't use your calculator. You have to know this. But for right now, let's just knock one thing out the way. Let's get our diploma. And then you can use the math course for free as much as you want, practice as much as you want, make sure you got it, and then get your next step and knock that out the way. Okay, so I'm not going to start a new concept tonight. So any questions before we leave tonight? Okay, good. Listen,
No.
if you're watching this video, the first thing I would advise you to do, go take your last test or your practice test and look at it. So first of all, I would change my book. So when you go to your score report, change the book to Kaplan. Now, I don't think Kaplan is the best book, but Kaplan, you put it on the GED Ready score on your actual exam, tells you the concepts more succinctly than any test on there.
Mm.
Okay? So
Okay.
that's what I want you to do. All right, so good luck to everybody. I'm going to post all the new people that passed the exam. I got a bunch of people. I'm back on Mondays consistently. So pass the word, tell your friends, share my posts, and good luck on your math exam.
Okay.
Have a good evening.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.